Well, I don't care how little we see of each other. It's going to be more than I've got now. Besides, after tomorrow, I just might be seeing more of him.
Hey, Chrissy. How long's Mick been out of jail?
6 months.
Oh, well, then how come it's taken him till now to come and see you?
I don't know, do I? He said something about wanting to get set up proper, you know, so he could offer me some kind of future, I suppose.
Oh, sounds like a real nice bloke.
He's okay.
Did you really lie about the kid being his?
Why don't you go and eat some poisoned cheese, Mouse?
What are you going to say to him tomorrow, Ben? Dry up, Lizzie.
You're getting another visit, aren't you? Well, if you can, so can I.
Oh, no, you don't. If everyone goes asking Davo for extra visits, she'll stop them for all of us.
And what makes you so special?
My friend's respectable.
He's still an ex-crim, though, isn't he? Just like Mick. Except, of course, he works for the Screws. I suppose that's why you like each other so much. You're both bloody top sucks, aren't you, really? Get out of my way.
Latham, break it up! All right, who started this? Well? All right, suit yourself. Not going to look too good on your parole report, is it, Latham? As for you, Smith, I'm sure we can find a way of cooling you down. Now, off to yourselves, both of you.
Oh, brother, what the hell is wrong with Bea lately?
Oh, she's fallen for that Ken Pierce, that's all.
What?
Yeah. Don't say I said anything, Jude. She'd kill me if I told you.
Yeah, well, I knew she was attracted to him, but that's ridiculous. I mean, what good's that going to do her stuck in here?
Yeah, she's right out of her depth now, right?
The whole evening's ruined just because I lost my temper.
Don't worry about it. Let's go out to eat.
I feel too rotten.
Okay, I'll get some takeaway. Be about 10 minutes. Oh, and I promise I won't breathe a word about that to Peter.
Hello, Mum. Look, please, you've got to come. No, it's not just the shopping. I didn't tell you everything before, but it's Dad. If you don't do something about it, you're going to lose him. Dad? Dad? Oh, he must have just left, but he said he'd be home for lunch.
You mean he'll be with this woman all morning?
Well, he's got to visit Pentridge too. Hey, would you like a cup of tea?
Oh, no, thanks. I had one on the train.
Oh, well, I'll put this in my room.
No, leave it there. I might not be staying.
But, Mum, I've arranged...
I can always stay in a hotel. Why didn't you tell him I was coming?
I wanted you to surprise him. Well, he said you'd be welcome.
I thought you said you liked this woman.
I did. At least I felt sorry for her more than anything. But that was before I found out she was trying to split you and Dad up.
Thought we'd managed that on our own.
If you can't stand him, then why don't you give him a divorce?
Because he's never asked for one. And one day he'll come to his senses.
He won't as long as Bea's got her hooks into him.
Look, Ken would never get involved with a criminal.
That's his job, isn't it? And if you thought that, how come you believed that story in the paper? Look, you don't know her, Mum. When she sets out to get something, she gets it. They've got a lot in common, too. She's serving almost as much time as he did.
You don't have to remind me about his past. I know. I lived through it.
That's what this is about. That's what got him into trying to make prisons better. And why you don't want anything more to do with him. Well, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore.
Well, you better make up your mind, Mum. Because if you don't show Dad you still want him back, it's as good as letting her have him.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, you've only got to ask, you know that. Must be important for Mrs. Davison to agree to a visit so soon. Not to mention the privacy, eh? Wentworth's changed a lot since the days of the storeroom. I heard you got yourself in a bit of strife. Is that what you wanted to see me about?
Word travels fast, isn't it? I hope Debbie didn't mind you coming to see me.
Debbie?
How is she?
Oh, just pre-wedding jitters.
Well, at least she'll have the whole family together on the day. You don't talk about your wife very much.
There's nothing much to say. That's past history.
She and Debbie seem pretty close.
Well, Marion had to bring her up by herself. And work. It wasn't easy for her.
Is that why you never got a divorce? Because of Debbie?
Marion's never asked me for one. She's Catholic, but I rather fancy she enjoys the sound of being married rather than the actual state. But like I said, there's past history. Now, what about you?
Oh, you know me, I'm always bound to get into strife. Keeping the others straightened out.
Look, Bea, forget about everybody else. If you want to beat the system, love, you've got to join it. That's what I did. I forgot about myself and I played the screws game. Now, it got me out 5 years earlier, and it gave me a purpose.
You know the other day when you said you thought I should get involved in prisoners' rights? Well, I got to thinking about it. I wouldn't mind giving it a go. But I couldn't do it alone.
You could do anything you put your mind to. And I couldn't be happier.
Wouldn't it be easier if you stuck around, though? I mean, for a bit of support?
Oh, I'd like to, love, but my hands are tied.
You could always untie them. I don't know whether I mentioned it or not, but we've got a new teacher.
Yeah, I met him, Andrews. He seems a go-getter.
Yeah, well, I think he might be interested in learning a few things from you himself. And Mrs. Davidson seems to listen to him.
It's all right for you lot, isn't it? Sitting there telling us to keep our noses clean. But we got to live here, haven't we? I mean, how do you think it feels when we see women like Bea getting extra visits? And all we've got is to think about our men. Once a bloody month, if you're lucky, you might get to hold hands.
At least I'll be able to explain to the board that you're under a great deal of emotional pressure.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Put my feelings out on the table for everyone to leer at.
Sexual frustration is a problem in all prisons.
They're going to think I'm a raving nympho. I mean, what would you know anyway, going home to your husband? I'm sorry, Mrs. Morris. You're not just stringing me along, are you? I mean, you won't ruin it for me when you get in front of the board, will you? Get your own back after all this time?
I meant that I understood. But if you have any doubts, we may be able to get you another parole officer.
Oh, no, I want to stick with you. I've been thinking about Mick, and I'm going to marry him.
And you don't sound very happy about it.
Yeah, well, I could do worse, couldn't I? And it will help me to get out of here, won't it?
It's pointless marrying him just to get out, Chrissy. I mean, if the marriage breaks down, well, you won't be getting Elizabeth straight away. You have to prove that you've got a suitable home environment before welfare hands her over.
I'll do anything for my child.
The last time we spoke, I seem to recall your mentioning the department was still in the Dark Ages.
Well, you've certainly made a lot of changes since then, Mrs. Davison.
And you think we've made enough to reinstate you?
If you and Mr. Andrews approve, I'd like to come back here as an advisor, even temporarily.
Have you spoken to Smith about this?
Yes, and I think I can do more for her working with her here than just visiting her as a friend.
Do you think she'll benefit from the new program?
Yes. She needs an objective, something to work towards. That laundry down there is hardly an outlet for a woman of her intelligence and capabilities.
Mr. Pierce, if you do return, and that depends entirely on my discussion with Mr. Andrews, you must realize that your relationship with Smith will be the same as any other staff member to an inmate.
Yes, of course. Debbie, I'm home. All set to go? Debbie?
Hello, Ken.
Marion.